Hello, and thank you for tuning in to my YouTube video on can we teach the old dog some new licks, not tricks. I decided to do this throughout January, partly because it's terribly boring being in Tier 4 and there's nothing much else to do when you're stuck in a house all the time. But also I've always wanted to improve my saxophone playing, but never been very good at sitting down and just doing the practice. So I'm doing this based around a particular exercise which I found on a website. This is the exercise. It was under the heading of Lick of the Month in May 2011 by a chap called Thomas Trolson. That's his name up the top there, and his website is www.thomastrolson.com. So that's where the credit for this one goes. Apparently it's based on a lick by Sonny Rollins some long time ago. So the top bit is the lick, if you like, and the next three lines are variations taking through all the different keys in, I think, the cycle of fifths. I think that's what it is. It starts in E minor, A minor, D minor, G, C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B minor, E, going all the way around. And you can see probably just about from there that some of those earlier bits don't look too bad, although they have their moments, which we'll demonstrate briefly. But when you get into the middle of the second one, as my old guitar playing friend Jimmy used to say, when he was talking about playing up the top end of the guitar, he said he was up the dusty end. Well, this is definitely the dusty end of the saxophone down here, when you're playing things like left hand D flat and B flat and up to E flat. So I guess for a lot of people that's an area of the saxophone that doesn't really get overused when you're playing improvisation solos. Tend to stick to the slightly safer ground a bit further up from that. So this is a good exercise because it takes you pretty well across the range, and it doesn't go too high up particularly, but this it's quite good for developing that bottom end. So first of all, I'm going to play the Sonny Rollins lick, a 5-bar phrase. I chose this because I just quite like it. First of all, I couldn't play this before, but I practiced it until I could, and it's just a nice little turn. And then in the middle bar has got this little 8-note section that Thomas Trolson has picked up as the exercise that he develops around the cycle of fifths. That'll become a lot clearer when I play it rather than explain it. Okay, so that's reasonably fluent. So then it goes into sort of like variations, which I haven't done. Blimey. So that's going to take a lot of work. So I think I need to break that down into little bits at a time and just do the old repetitions. Because the other thing is you got to work out the best fingerings for them. So not obvious when you're on the fly. So the first bit's not too bad. That's easy enough. So that cross B to C is a bit tricky. D, B, C. side C doesn't help really. That's the awkward bit, that G, B, C. That might be better. Yep, repetition, that's the answer. So then the next one is the D minor bit. It's not too bad. And the G minor bit. It's always the bits around the top left hand that I find the most difficult. Just getting the, when it comes down one way and goes up another way. Very tricky. Well, I think that's demonstrated what the issue is. I can't play it. So the plan is I'm going to work at sections, practice and blah 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 every day throughout the month of January, and this section will appear at the beginning, and just for those who are dipping in at the middle rather than having to watch the whole sequence, and you'll be able to compare what you've just seen with what's about to follow. Hello, welcome to day 3 of Can We Teach the Old Dogs Some New Licks? And I've made some progress. To remind you, there are basically 3 lines of this exercise activity that I'm doing, and I've been focusing mostly on the first one, just because I was finding if I tried to do everything at the same time I was just getting myself more confused. So here goes with a run through that first line, and there's 4 iterations of the phrase in that. Let's see how we get on. Okay, so a couple of wobbles in there, but a lot more fluent than it was yesterday or the day before, so yeah, practice is working. So I'm going to keep doing that, keep practicing those ones, keep them nice and fluent, but now I'm going to go on to the second line. Okay, so this second line here, the middle one of the 3 that you can see, it's a different kettle of fish altogether. There's nasties all over the place. So the first bit is the E flat down to the low C up to the F and the D. Not awful, but it's just, you know, that's that right little finger sliding from the E flat down to the C key. Then you get into the second bar there, which is okay, but the third bar is just a nightmare. That's F, D flat to B flat. Now D flat to B flat is rolling the left hand little finger down, and then it goes up to the E flat. Now the problem I'm finding with that, I've tried that a few times, is it's difficult to practice that D flat down to B flat repetitively just by going, you know, D flat, B flat, D flat, B flat, backwards and forwards, because it's actually quite painful in your finger. So that's going to be an interesting challenge. That's definitely not what they say under the fingers. And then once you've stumbled through that bar, that B flat, G flat, E flat, A flat in the second last bar on the page is quite tricky. And then likewise the last bar. So this middle line is a nightmare, putting it quite simply. So I'm going to go and play it through in a second, badly obviously, and then that's going to be the focus of practice for the next little while. Right, here we go for this second line. Not for the faint-hearted. It's a good idea to start on the right note. Blimey. Right, well there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tricky sections in there, and as I say, the really difficult bit is that middle one, F, low D flat, down to B flat, up to E flat. And I just don't know how I'm going to practice that backwards and forwards. I'm going to end up having to do press ups on my little finger to just build up the strength there. So that might be a while. I might have to have a couple of days and more trying to get that quite fluent. While I'm practicing this difficult middle section, I'm reminded that that little left hand exercise that I started doing is worth repeating. So this is to develop some shuffles between the normal C on the left hand going to B, which I know normally you would obviously use the side key, but sometimes you can't depending on what's coming next. So that's not a very comfortable move for me. And then sometimes you have to get onto the B flat, you know, where your left index is covering both keys. So I've developed this little routine, easiest to play it rather than explain it. Anyway, that also seems to be quite useful because quite a lot of these little phrases throw little tricky top left hand bits just at the end of the phrase just to catch you out. Right, because this is so incredibly difficult, I've been practicing it a little bit more and I'm going to have another go now. That's definitely coming on. Now the second line goes quite well and then a wheel falls off. Oh dear. Maybe doing too much today. Give that one more go. Just exhausted when you get to the end of the first line. That'll do for today. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.